crushed. Who crushed them? This is the average family in the 1960s. And we were, I mean, you know, we were still coming out of the Leave It to Beaver years, where we still were relatively decent people, I think. And up here, I mean, we had these two clowns. And these people, this is our general society. Hippies like Bill Ayers ran around tossing bombs at everything. And at some point they realized the tactic isn't going to change anything. They realized they didn't have any power. See, Cloward and Piven said, collapse the system, get inside, infect the system, destroy it from the inside out. Get a hold of as much power as you can get and get as many people on welfare as possible and collapse the system. But the key ingredient was to have a structure in place so that when it all comes tumbling down, there's something for it to collapse into. So what's the structure? What did they learn? They learned some really important lessons. They learned that the man was keeping them down. Remember that? It's the man. You remember all of these stupid people protesting the man in Washington? All the marches, all the things that they did? Well, there was kind of a line here. Because Americans don't like radicals. Americans don't like terrorists. Americans don't like dope-smoking hippies. They don't like people who are dangerous. We don't like that. That's not the way we do things. We do things through elections. We do things through elections. So what they learned was, don't fight the man. Become the man. These are all radicals that in one way or another have influence either directly or indirectly with the President of the United States. They have become the man. Now, they have power at the top. Now, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Well, their radical changes. If their radical changes are going to happen, they had to achieve this goal, and they've done that. The other thing they realize is Americans are religious and moral people. Can you turn this around for me, please? They're religious and moral people. This is what I showed you last night. Remember? Healthcare. Oh, why do you hate people that don't hate people? Economic justice, which is socialism, which is redistribution of wealth. We're religious and moral people. The Marxists knew they had to work up this way. They knew we wouldn't go along with nuts who were throwing bombs. No one wanted to be a part of that. So they had to change from redistribution of wealth and Marxism and socialism to economic justice. And then just talk about health care, because it's the right thing to do. God would want you to do it. See? Van Jones, where is he, the radical? Here, Van Jones, he summed it up this way. Watch this. He said, I'm willing to forego the cheap satisfaction of the radical pose for the deep satisfaction of the radical ends. The goals haven't changed, but the tactic has. The new tactic? See if any of this sounds familiar. Remembering that America is a religious and moral people. They have power here. All they need is just some radicals down here to crush. You're against health care? Why do you hate poor people? Why do you want old people to die? How can you be for the status quo? I mean, have you seen all the children suffering? You're against immigration reform? Why do you hate foreigners? Is it because they look different than you? Why are you a racist? Against cap and trade? Why do you want to harm the earth? Why do you want children's lungs to be filled with SUV exhaust? Why are you such a hater? I showed you last night that everything is a moral argument now. On education, it's social justice. You had a chance, they didn't. Healthcare, why do you hate the poor? It's economic justice. Global warming, it's ecological justice. Why do you hate the planet? By appealing to these two things up here, they gotcha. Make you feel bad, pull at your heartstrings. They learned their lessons in the 1960s. Why did we lose? Because of people like this. Why did they lose? Because of people like this. My grandfather. We used to go to church with our grandparents and our parents. And the man was in charge. The man was in charge. The man was respectable. He had a tie on. Oh. So if we drop the radical pose and stop dressing like hippies and we put ties on, all of a sudden we're respectable. Stop throwing bombs. Stop smoking dope. Stop picketing, shouting things. No one listens. If you do that, you become Acorn. You're out picketing and what? They learned this while they were plotting revolutions, many of them. So let me ask you this question. How many times have you plotted a revolution? How many times have you and your friends thought, hey, we should destroy America, take over? If you're like me, the answer is a big fat zero. But these people, many of them, not all of them, these people have been doing this since I was born. They've figured it out. If you want fundamental transformation, you have to reverse the roles. Look at Van Jones, militant, revolutionary, anti-capitalist, Marxist, communist. He helped cop killers. Kanye West, he helped him spread the word that Bush hates black people. And now all of a sudden, Mr. Suit and Tie is preaching love. Watch this.
To my fellow countrymen, Mr. Glenn Beck, I see you and I love you, brother. I love you and you cannot do anything about it. I love you and you cannot do anything about it.
The communist revolutionary is suddenly full of love. Andy Stern, who I've never talked to before, I showed you this last week, sends me this little love note. Sorry about that, Ed. It's like, you don't know what it's like to run a camera with this guy. Sends me this little love note. Hey, Glenn. Since you commented on the purple tie the president's wearing, it's really been hard to find. And he sends me a little gift. How very nice. Well, they're the man. They're the voice of reason now. Meanwhile, in just today's news, Cokie Roberts said, I was a terrorist. The director of the Titanic, I don't know if you saw it on the front page of the Drudge Report, said I was, and excuse this, an effing a-hole and a poison to society. I'm going to get to those later, but I want you to know that's not just about me. That's not about me. You see, what they've done is they've radicalized the man. These people are in the center, but who's down here? They know that these people always lose because they experienced it. The crazy teabaggers in the streets. Why would a government continue to poke you and poke you and poke you and poke you? Why would they say these things? Why have these people said these things about good Americans? Because they need to separate these people from these people. They know exactly how you feel when the President of the United States says that. Do you have the picture of, yeah, here. These guys, remember, these guys? When these guys said, these crazy, dope-smoking hippies, they knew how it felt. They knew, and it drove them nuts, and it drove some of them, it drove this guy and this guy to start throwing bombs. They're counting on it. The man made them do it. And they learned that once they threw a bomb, they were done. Martin Luther King changed the world without a single act of violence. Gandhi was right in many ways. This might be the most dangerous monologue I've ever done, because I am telling you now, they need you to be violent. They are begging for it. You're being set up. Do not give them what they want. I saw a report earlier today on Fox about some congressmen, how they're getting death threats because they voted for health care. I have to tell you, I don't even know what to believe anymore. I don't know if that's true or not, but let me tell you this. If it is, do not become them. Not only is it completely nuts and wrong, it's exactly what they want. That's what they did. They've dropped the radical pose for the radical ends. Don't play into their script. They need you to become them. That's who they were in the 1960s, and they know how the game ends. I know it is extremely frustrating right now, and these people are doubling down, but do not give them what they want. Remain who you've always been.